Hi guys. Well, I'm sure we've all had or heard horror stories when it comes to online dating. Well, I was wanting to talk about a few experiences I've had, around dating and specifically online dating. So, I hope you stay with me and you listen to what I have to say. Um, I feel like online dating is, a very people don't like to talk about it as though it's a taboo. I don't know why. But yeah, people can't wrap their head around the fact that people go online to meet people. But we've also seen very beautiful love stories that have blossomed from online dating in recent times. So I'm sure it goes without saying that I am team online dating, team physical dating. Yes, it's so much easier to meet people, physically and talk to them, but then, where everyone is busy and you are like in a fast paced community or a fast paced city, and it's hard to even stop and talk to people, I don't see anything wrong with online dating as a single person. Of course, if you're a married man or woman, you shouldn't be on a dating app wasting people's time. But if you are there with the intention of finding love, I mean, I don't see anything wrong with that. I don't think it should be treated as a taboo anymore. So last week I made a video and then I took it down because I wasn't actually ready to talk about it. Now I am ready, and I made a video because I had experienced very recently this online dating man who I wanted to talk about. So we literally started talking like maybe 2 days. Let's say we started talking on a Monday or we matched on a Monday. So we matched on a Monday. He sent hello, I said hi. Then on the Tuesday, he dropped his number and said if I would like to chat, outside of here. And then I said no problem. So then I text him and I say hi, this is me, you left your number. And then he asked me if I was on WhatsApp, and I'm like, no, I'm not on WhatsApp with this number. And this is something I have done deliberately because I realized that people just come on your WhatsApp and they waste your time. So I'm like, I'll just give them a number they can call me or text me on. And if I think that somebody is serious or worth the hassle, then we can, bother about taking it to a physical meeting or WhatsApp. Again, those who know me know that my WhatsApp is very busy. I had told you guys that I was a WhatsApp influencer before I came on YouTube, and I am still a WhatsApp influencer. I still post videos, I still say my thoughts and still say things on WhatsApp. So I don't want just anybody coming to my WhatsApp space. So I still protect my WhatsApp space. So when the man asked me for my number, I'm like, no, I can't give you my WhatsApp number. And he said, can I ask why? And I said, well, it's just simple reasons. People come on WhatsApp, they drag things on, they don't get to meet you, or they just want to do like a talking stage forever. And I feel like most of these people are just bored. They just are looking for company. But it's not fair that you go on a dating app where people are actually looking for love and then you just want to satisfy your boredom. So people are just bored. They just want to chat with somebody, and then they go there, and then you're here in your feelings, thinking, "Oh, I like him or he likes me," but he's just bored. He probably has a family back at home in Nigeria. That's why I said married people don't come on the app. But yeah, they're just doing their own thing, and you're here. So I do not allow anybody talk to me longer than 2 months. I don't, and I say it. I can't talk online for more than 2 months without physically meeting a person. I don't do it, so I just don't waste my time like that. Cause you know when a person is fake or when they're like a time waster. So it's on you to now decide that I don't want to indulge this person. So yeah, when he asked me and I said to him, "Oh, I'm not willing to give my WhatsApp number." Then he now explained that he wanted to have my WhatsApp number because he wanted us to be able to exchange photos and to be able to video call so we can see ourselves. And for me, video calling is very important. It's good to know that this person I'm talking to is indeed the person who I think I'm supposed to be talking to. So I sent him a message on WhatsApp. Again, I shouldn't have bulged. So I think one thing is when you make a decision for yourself, make sure you stick to it. Don't allow anybody sway you out of it. Because if I didn't, chat him on WhatsApp, we wouldn't have even been here. But yeah, we went on WhatsApp and um said hi, and then I'm like, but my picture is already on the app, you see. So like, I'm surprised that you're asking for more pictures, but then again, I can imagine that people want to be sure that the person on the app is the person here. So I sent him two pictures from my birthday. It was just my birthday past. So gave him pictures from my birthday. He sent me two of his own pictures too. And then he said, can we talk tomorrow? I'm like, yeah. He said he was at work tonight. He's a nurse apparently. So I'm like, oh yeah, we can talk, tomorrow and all of that. And then he video calls me and then we talk. And then he says, oh, he would like to see me if I'm free on Saturday. So I'm saying we start talking on a Monday, yeah? He wanted to see me on a Saturday. In my mind, I'm like, okay, yeah, he's not wasting time and things. And like I said, it's good to meet somebody. That you're meeting them does not mean you're committing to marry them. It's just that you're meeting them. It's just that let's just see physically, because generally we would love to meet people physically. And I also believe in physical energy. So you can meet somebody online, think this person is perfect, and then you meet them physically and then there's just something awfully wrong and you're like, how did I miss that? So yeah, it's good to meet people physically. So yeah, rather than waste our time, if you want to see me after 1 week, that's great. So I said, all right, right, let's meet and all. Then he tells me where he is. He's like in a city 2 hours away from me, because when he told me the city, I put it on Google and I checked where he was and I checked where I was. So I'm like, okay, you can come over here. He's like, he's going to drive over. I'm like, oh, that's good. Then I don't know why I said it. I shouldn't have, because there was no need to. But I know how our Nigerian men can be. If this man was white, maybe I wouldn't have bothered. But again, like I said, I know how Nigerian men can be. They would make a fuss over something. And I don't want him to say, oh, I didn't tell him. So I just told him that if he comes over, we're going to meet in town. Like, I'm not hosting you in my house or anything. Because I didn't want him thinking he was coming to a grand event where they've served him jollof rice and peppered meat as the odogu that he is. So I was like, nah, let me just tell this man so that, And I just told him that I wasn't going to meet him in my house, that I'm sure this was unnecessary, but the place of meeting will be in town. We'll meet like in a cafe or something. Again, just so he holds his purse, his money, because if we were going to have lunch, he would have to be paying, or drinks or whatever. So I'm like, okay, just, let him know so he's prepared. So I then tell him, and then he's like, why do I say that? Why do I say I don't host people? I don't want him in my house. And I said, it's not about you. It's just a general thing. I don't host men in my house. Not on the first day I'm meeting you, not from a dating app. I've never met you before. And I think that this should go without explaining. Like, why do I have to explain it? Are the reasons not obvious? I asked him, do you understand though? Do you see why? Because you have to see why. It has to make sense to you, else we're just, forcing this idea on you. So he's like, well, do I also know that people meet on dating apps and then they are married and they have kids now? I'm like, well, everybody do what works for you, yeah? If that's what works for them and it has worked for them, great. It doesn't work for me. I don't trust people like that. I'm not comfortable to bring a man I have never met before in my space. And then he's like, am I sure that's my reason? I'm like, yeah, I'm not comfortable with men around, like men I don't know, men I've never met before. And I'm like, I think that's a perfectly good enough reason. What else do you think my reason would be? Like, what do you think the reason could be? It can't be bigger than that. It can't be bigger than, I don't want you in my space. I don't know you. I've never met you. I don't know your father. I don't know your mother. You could be a ritualist, come and take off my head. It doesn't matter that we're not in Nigeria. People say, oh, are you saying that they don't kill people abroad? People are killed abroad. In short, there's more psychopaths, because we've seen all the stories. Me, I watch Bones. I watch Cold Case. I watch Murder Mysteries. All those things where I see how love can turn very sour very quickly, so that I tell myself, Nandi, this will never be you. You're never going to put yourself in a situation where a man comes to your house and harms you. So no, I don't want you in my house, because I don't know you. If I've met you in church and I know your mother and your father, I know your sisters, we can say this is where they live, this is where their family house is. But we never met before and you just want us to meet on the first day in my house. So now you see why I felt like I needed to tell him, because he didn't appear to me as somebody who had that sense to actually understand. if we just showed up in the restaurant. I didn't want anybody creating a scene for me and saying, oh, I wanted to spend his money. Oh, I just wanted to use him for free lunch. Excuse me, sir. I could have come with my purse as well. Me, I always go with my purse anywhere for Vex money. And not just Vex money, even when I'm going out with a person I am actively dating, like somebody I love, I still go with my purse because there could be network issues, there could be issues where his card fails or something. It could be anything. And we don't want to be embarrassed in a restaurant. This is my own person, so I know that even if I pay, he'll give me back later. Thankfully, it has never occurred that any man I went on a date with needed me to pay because their card did not work. But I always go with my card and I always make sure that there's money in it because, like I said, I can never be caught in an embarrassing situation, a situation whereby you've eaten and you can't pay. By the grace of God Almighty, it shall never be me. So I try to avoid those things, yeah. So then I said to him, like, oh yeah, you can't come to my house. And my brother was like, he needs to pick a call. And when he said that, I just knew that, okay, yeah, he wasn't calling back. So the next day, I sent him a message. I said, I've thought about you and I've thought about our conversation yesterday. It felt very stressed for a first conversation because before the conversation even ended, he was telling me that, oh, I understand you're a lawyer, so you win. He was like, oh, you are a lawyer, so no need to argue. Let's just leave it. And you know, when somebody, I'm sure lawyer girls will understand with me. It's just painful when you're trying to explain your feelings to a man who is supposed to like you, and then they say, oh, you're a lawyer, you win. It's like, oh, all we want to do is argue. They really think that we just live our lives going around trying to find somebody to pick an argument with. So I'm like, no, it's not because I'm a lawyer. I could have been a nurse or an accountant or a doctor. And by God's grace, if I still had this brain in my head, I would have told you the same thing. People want to be safe. Nobody wants to be part of the murder mystery. Nobody wants to be on television because they were killed and their body was found 6 months later. It's very easy for me to go lost for 6 months because my family is not here. I don't think my work is going to come and look for my house if I don't come to work for 6 months. They might because they know I'm single and they might be concerned. But I mean, it's very possible that I can go missing for 6 months. So no, I don't want you in my house. But the fact that I'm even having to argue with you on the first day, I don't think I want to meet you. And so then he says to me that, oh yeah, he knows that is why he told me he needed to go yesterday. I'm like, oh, so you chickened out. You couldn't tell me, oh, I don't think we're going to work. You said, oh, you needed to pick a call and you left. I was like, well, I'm happy that I was the bigger person and I came back to tell you that things were not going to work before I block you. So I told him and then I blocked him, of course. But my point is, this is not the first person I am meeting who has this mentality that because he is coming over, then he should be hosted. There was another person I was chatting with online dating that told me that he was coming over and he wanted pounded yam and ogbono soup. This one was even lucky I liked him, so I didn't even shout plenty like, okay, we've been chatting for a while, I can do ogbono for you, but still it's not going to be like on the first time we're meeting or first time you're talking to me or first time you're coming to my house. So I'm like, why do people really feel so entitled? Why do they think that this is a thing? I feel like it's a very bad behavior and I'm here to call it out. I think it's not good. Like, I literally made some notes. I made some notes that I want to talk about. So I've spoken about like this man generally. And then my question is, why do men feel like they want to come over to your space? Is it like a test thing? Do they want to see that your house is tidy and your house is clean? Do they want to see that you can run their homes properly? Do they want to try your cooking? Like, oh, can she cook? If that is what it is, like you even have such long-term plans for me in your mind, then why don't you just let the first date be comfortable? That's when you should know me. You should, make me feel comfortable, be comfortable in my presence. Why should the first day be the day we're proving that we are wife material? Why should the first day be the day that we're like, because I'm trying to figure out really what it is, why a man will not be patient if a woman says she's not comfortable. The point is that I am not comfortable. If I was comfortable, it is fine. Like he said, some people get married, and I told him that day, some people will come and dance and will clap for them. Some people will come and do the same dance and will mock them, will flog them off. So why can't I say I don't want you in my house on the first day and you take it at face value? Why do we have to argue? Why do we have to end saying, oh, you're a lawyer, I understand? Why does it have to be, strenuous? It's the first day we're talking, sir, and you want the first time we meet to be in my house, and I say no, and you're offended? Make it make sense to me, please. Make it make sense to me. Another thing I thought of maybe is money. I understand that abroad men feel like they don't have to do too much because there are women who would do 50-50, who will call Dutch, who will say, pay your own, let me pay my own. And to be honest, on this kind of situations where a man is traveling to meet me, I try to be very reasonable. If we're meeting and you tell me, UK is hard, I don't want to come over all the way, and then the prices of things are too expensive, I have not budgeted for it, I'm happy to say I'll pay for my drink or I'll pay for my lunch. In short, there was another time I was chatting to somebody and I said to him, let's meet in London, because he was in a very far away town. I'm in a far away town. I said, let's meet in London. London is central. I don't want to feel bad if you have to travel all the way to me, and when you come, I don't like you, and you spend all this transport money. Because I feel like it's not fair to ask a man, maybe he spends £100 on travel to come and meet you, and then he comes like you don't like him. Then you feel like you have to like him. For me, I'll feel like I feel bad for him. Like, then we're starting the relationship on pity, and that doesn't even make any sense. So I was like, rather than you come all the way, meet me in London. So you would have traveled 2 hours to London. I would have traveled 2 hours to London. Middle, everybody pays for their drinks, or since we've traveled, you can be the man and pay for my drinks, and everybody goes their way, you see, so that nobody is feeling like anybody cheated them. I'm happy to do that, but you have to have an honest conversation. You cannot be forming odogu and be forming this. You want them to come and cook pounded yam for you on the first date in the UK. You're not even happy that I am willing to give you drinks. You're not even happy that I'm willing to do jollof rice. You want pounded yam. Sorry, please, who are you again? Is this a test of wifeliness on the first date? Are there not more things to life? Are there not more things to look out for? Is it really always going to be about food? Now, I feel like for men, this is my advice here. Men should just try to listen to women, especially on these online dating platforms. Nobody has time for men who are uncouth. Gone are the days where men will come and spew rubbish, and we just have to take it because they are the men. There's a man again on the online dating who was saying to me, like, the one who wanted to come over, and I was like, oh, let's meet in London, let's make it 50-50. So he was saying to me recently how he was saying to me then that he would, if I wanted to be married like in 3 months, if I wanted to marry in the UK, he's going to be ready to be married in the UK if we're going to marry here in 3 months. But if the marriage has to be in Nigeria, where family and everybody is ceremony, then even in 2 years, he's not ready. And I laughed. I'm like, oh my God, just look at time wasters. So if I was going to just go across the road with you to church with no family, like an orphan, literally, no witnesses, just two of us, so that when you break my heart, you break it well, you squash it, you put me inside bottle, and I won't have any family to help me. That one you can do in 3 months. But the one that father will talk, mother will talk, aunties will talk, you will pay dowry, you said even in 2 years you will not be ready. And I told him that me, I'm not doing high street wedding. No. He was like, oh, his friends have gotten married in the UK. We ladies, we just want ceremony. And I'm like, everybody do what works for you. If you can't do a proper wedding, that's fine. Me, there's love at home. There's love at home. With the kind of love I've enjoyed, there's no man who will come and convince me to marry in the UK without my family. It's one thing if he's willing to host my family. Mommy, daddy, Rindi, my Naman, my Moiret, them Naret and Fwanshak, everybody. You are such an odogo, you want to fly everybody in. Come and do wedding. But that you say that because you are saving money, we should just marry here, just two of us. You don't have family. You don't have people who love you. If you don't have me, I have. And that is why we cannot be unequally yoked. That is unequal yoking. Because if you don't have love at home, there's love in my home. So there's no convincing me. And he was trying to, gaslight me, make me feel bad. for saying I wanted a proper wedding, for saying I wanted to go home and do a wedding. My brother was saying, that what is the essence, is the important part not me and him, why won't we just marry here? And this is a topic we're going to have another conversation about: dating abroad. Why Nigerian men come abroad and they lose all the qualities, all the things that make us Nigerian. If at home you go and pay dowry, you go and see her family, why do we come abroad and then you don't want it? This is something I'll discuss with my cousin. She's in Canada and she has the same issues. I'm in the UK and I've had friends in the US. So it is not a thing of, it is happening everywhere. Nigerian men leave home and they come here. When they're at home, they want to do a big introduction, big traditional wedding. When they come abroad, they don't want to do any of that. Why? We don't become un-Nigerian because we're abroad. So like I said, this is a long topic we're going to talk about on another day. I'm going to try and see if I can connect my cousin from Canada on that day so we can talk about, dating abroad. But today we're talking about online dating, gong. Why the men think that it is in their right to make a request for what they want to eat and where they want to meet, and insist that it has to be in your house. And if you say no, then they don't want to see you anymore. Of course, we know that that's a red flag and God has removed it even before it started. We thank God, glory be to God. But I just want to know, and I just want to say to men that they should listen. Men should be more open. We know that you're in your 30s and you've worked and struggled and brought yourself abroad. That's fine. But you have to be willing to listen. If not, nobody will marry you. You people should not think it's only women that will say nobody will marry you. Nobody will marry you as a man. Nobody will marry you. You too, you are going to be single. You too, you are going to be a bachelor. It's not only the spinster that it will pain. It will pain you too. You wake up in your 50s and 60s and you'll be very single. You'll be very alone, my darling. Forget it that they say, oh, it's women who have biological clock. Even you, is it not the men that are crying now? Men who were not there for their families and they were not there for their children. Are they not the ones that are crying now because there's nobody to look after them and they say,